Today, we're diving into a massive plot point from the Rings of Power that has fans buzzing after the epic Season 2 finale. Buckle up, because we're talking about Durin IV, the king of Khazad-dûm, the Balrog, and, plot twist, his mysterious brother. Yeah, that's right. Durin's got a brother we barely knew existed, and it looks like this sibling rivalry is about to shake the foundations of Khazad-dûm. But the big question is, who is Durin's brother? Let's dig into everything we know, and a bit of what we think we know about this game, changing character. Now, if you're anything like me, when you watched that finale titled Shadow and Flame, your jaw was probably on the floor. I mean, the Balrog killed King Durin IV, leaving our boy Durin IV to ascend to the throne. But what's a good fantasy series without a little royal family drama, right? Enter the bombshell that Durin's brother could be a contender for the throne. And honestly, nobody saw this coming because this mysterious brother has hardly been mentioned before. So, who is he? Why is he suddenly causing trouble? And how will this shake-up impact Season 3? Now, as you probably know, anytime we talk about the Lord of the Rings, we have to ask ourselves, what did Tolkien actually write? Because, let's face it, the show has been bending Tolkien's lore quite a bit. And that's totally fine. It's been working for the story they're telling. But here's the catch. When we look at Tolkien's writings, Durin IV, the character we see in the Rings of Power, doesn't even exist. You heard me right? Durin IV is an original creation for the show. Tolkien didn't really give us much on dwarven lore during the Second Age, so a lot of what we know about Durin IV, the king we see in the show, is actually from appendices and some brief mentions. In Tolkien's version, Durin IV was the king of Khazad-dûm during major events like the forging of the Rings of Power and the sack of Eregion. He's also the only dwarf lord who got his Ring of Power directly from the elves, while all the other dwarves got theirs from Sauron. That's a pretty big deal, right? But as far as Tolkien's writings go, Durin IV never had to deal with a Balrog, and we certainly don't hear anything about him having a rebellious son, or, in this case, a rebellious brother. This is where things get juicy. So Durin IV's brother is completely new territory, both for Tolkien lore and the Rings of Power. This means we're in uncharted waters, but let's think about it. Why would the show introduce a brother now, and what could this mean? The only time we ever heard about this brother before the Season 2 finale was way back in Season 1, Episode 7, when Durin's wife, Disa, briefly mentions him. She says, "One day Khazad-dûm will be yours, not your brother's." That's it, Sid. No name, no real context, nothing. It was such a small moment, most of us probably didn't think much of it. But clearly, the writers were planting seeds for some serious family drama. Fast forward to the Season 2 finale. Durin IV takes the throne after his father is killed by the Balrog. But there's already talk, whispers, that his brother is rallying support among some of the dwarf lords. I don't know about you, but I've got major Game of Thrones vibes from this. It's classic medieval fantasy. One brother ascends to power and another steps in to say, "Wait a minute, I should be king." It's setting the stage for a dwarven power struggle that could tear Khazad-dûm apart. Now let's talk about the Balrog. In Tolkien's timeline, the Balrog doesn't awaken in Khazad-dûm until the Third Age, when Durin IV is king. But the Rings of Power has decided to shake things up by having the Balrog rise much earlier during the Second Age. It's a bold move, but it makes sense for the show's overarching theme of darkness spreading across Middle-earth. In the books, Durin IV is the one who leads the dwarves too deep into the mountain, searching for Mithril, and accidentally awakens the Balrog. He gets killed by the beast, and that's where the Balrog gets its infamous name, Durin's Bane. After Durin IV dies, his son Nain rules for just 1 year before the Balrog takes him out too. The dwarves are forced to flee Khazad-dûm, and the kingdom is abandoned, until, of course, Gimli and the Fellowship stroll in thousands of years later and find it in ruins. But here's the twist. The Rings of Power might be bringing Nain into the story much earlier. What if Durin IV's brother is actually Nain? Think about it. Nain becomes king after Durin dies fighting the Balrog in the books. And what do we see at the end of Season 2? Durin IV is killed by the Balrog, which opens the door for Nain, Durin IV's brother, to challenge him for the throne. It all fits. This sets up some serious conflict for Season 3, especially if Durin IV wants to stop the mining of Mithril while his brother wants to dig deeper, risking another Balrog attack. Let's face it, we're all dying to know what happens next in the Rings of Power. And with Durin IV now on the throne, but his brother lurking in the shadows, the tension is at an all-time high. Season 3 could go in so many directions, but one thing's for sure, this family feud is about to get intense. Will Durin's brother succeed in his claim for the throne? It's possible. And if he does, what's next for Durin IV? Are we going to see a civil war among the dwarves? It seems likely, especially given how divided Khazad-dûm already is over the mining of Mithril. If Durin IV tries to stop the mining to avoid more chaos with the Balrog, his brother might use that to rally even more support from the dwarf lords who are hungry for Mithril's power. And what about the Balrog itself? We know it's not done yet. It just killed a king. It's not going to stop there. If Durin's brother is as reckless as he seems, he might push Khazad-dûm even deeper into the mountain, leading to even more destruction. And with the Balrog fully awake now, Khazad-dûm is sitting on a ticking time bomb. This whole storyline with Durin IV and his brother is so rich with potential. Durin IV has always been portrayed as this noble but conflicted character. He's loyal to his people, but he's also torn between doing what's best for Khazad-dûm and following his father's wishes. Now, with his father gone, he's not only dealing with the pressure of ruling a kingdom, but also the threat of a civil war with his own brother. That's a lot for one dwarf to handle. Durin IV's journey in Season 3 is going to be all about how he handles this pressure. Will he stay true to his principles and try to protect his people from the dangers of Mithril mining, or will he be forced to fight his brother for the throne? Either way, the stakes have never been higher for the future of Khazad-dûm. Guys, the Rings of Power has set up a massive storyline for Season 3, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how it all plays out. With Durin IV now king, the Balrog on the loose, and his mysterious brother making a play for the throne, the next season is going to be full of drama, action, and probably some heartbreak too. So, what do you all think? Who is Durin's brother, and how do you think he's going to challenge Durin IV in Season 3? Will Khazad-dûm fall to the Balrog like it does in the books, or will Durin find a way to save his people from their dark fate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your theories. And, as always, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive and subscribe for more Rings of Power breakdowns, theories, and everything else, Middle-earth. I'll see you in the next one.